chance you delay can actually be lowered. See, when you procrastinate, two parts of your brains are actually battling up with each other. The first part would say, I should really do my homework or I will be sent to the principal's office. The second part would go, she might have replied me on Facebook. I could use a drink right now. Maybe I should play my guitar. See, the first part of your brain can see the long-term benefits of getting a job done, but it gets tired easily. The second part, however, is more powerful because it's directly connected to your brain's pleasure center. Hence, you have to ask yourself, are you going to make what's fun important, or are you going to make what's important fun? Next, why do we delay? Why do we waste our time? Why can't we pass our additional mathematics? Why are we not billionaires yet? You know the answer. Zarathustra claimed, procrastination serves as a tool for coping with stress. Do you really feel calm when you have an incomplete mission? Everyone has gone through the agonizing beginning of a project. That moment when you don't know how to start is one of the main reasons we procrastinate. Other than that, we sometimes find the task too hard, or maybe we're afraid we'll do it wrong. For example, when you're assigned to do a history volume, you might think, oh, I'll just do it later. What if I finished it and the teacher has some other ideas of how it should be done? Consequently, we will feel rather impatient and frustrated while learning something new. Last but not least, there's that undeniable fact that we don't feel that it's important to get it done quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, do we have a problem? I mean, why can't I finish my homework later? What difference does it make if I finish it now or the day before it's due? Does procrastination really serves as a tool for coping with stress, or does it increase our stress? Do we have a problem? Yes, we do, and we should do something about it. First off, identify your greatest distractions and make them less tangible. For instance, if you know your greatest distraction is to take a nap, you should probably not do your homework on your bed. Alright, let's try this. Imagine you come to class early in the morning and everyone's copying off of each other. It's 10 minutes before the teacher comes in and they're rushing to get their work done. You stand there thinking, I'm actually done with that. Feels good. You can sit back, relax, and maybe even help some of them understand what they mindlessly copied down. Okay, how do we stop wasting our time? Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for all these misbehaviors against yourself and move along. Because once you are able to forgive yourself, you'll be able to constructively approach your following duty. As a conclusion, life is nothing if you don't live it. Love is nothing if you don't embrace it. And success is nothing if you didn't have to fight for it. Before I step back, I'd like to say, if there's someone you need to forgive, or if you need to give your dad a hug, why wait? If you need to call your mom, or perhaps buy me KFC for lunch, why wait? Thank you.
JFK once said, ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. Martin Luther's unforgettable phrase, I have a dream. With these words, he inspired the whole black community in the US to fight for equal rights. Another famous saying is, when life throws you lemons, make lemonades. Now these are some of the famous, inspiring and encouraging quotes that not only have guided us, but to many, it has become life-altering statements. Simple words put together, either uttered or written, can determine someone's success or failure. It can inspire or depress, it can propel us into that magical and creative world that don't we all want. No goals or no dreams are impossible if we have the right words. Words allow us to dream that impossible dream, to explore unknown shores, and to strive for something so much more. Good morning, honorable judges, respected teachers, and fellow friends. As you would have guessed, my topic for today is the power of words. Words have always fascinated me. Sure, they may seem innocuous or dull, but when individual words come together, they generate so much power, so much so in its extremes, they can determine the success or failure to a nation. I personally don't adhere to the saying, sticks and stones may break bones, but words will never hurt me. But I am a devout believer of the saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. Today, let us explore the world of words, how it can bring joy and inspire us, yet can demoralize us. But in the end, it is the words that we choose that define us. First, let's look at the words that bring joy and inspire us. Amazing, incredible, I love you, I am here for you, you are the best. Simple, daily words, but nevertheless awe-inspiring with healing properties. Now, how many times have we been offered these words? Or better put, how many times have we broken into a smile or felt goosebumps when our parents say, good job or well done? Simple words put together can make our day, but to some, it can be life-altering statements. Two simple phrases such as cease fire and I surrender have such earth-shattering impact on war-torn countries around the world. These words, if uttered, would not only bring joy, but it would mean the beginning of a new nation entirely. However, let me tell you this, it is not always peaches and cream all the time. Just as words can uplift you, they can demoralize you. Remarks such as stupid, fool, loser, failure would always leave a scar. These words, uttered anytime or anywhere, can never be withdrawn. Just as you can't unring a bell, you cannot undo the irreparable damage an offending word causes. Harsh words spoken can crush spirits and push one into despair, such as in the case of the Form 5 girl who overdosed herself just because her friends picked on her and called her names. But let's stop mulling over the words spoken to us. What about the words that we choose to speak? It is true that what we think or feel is defined in our speech. Words not only determine our success or failure, but it defines us as a person. If bitter and derogatory words form the bulk of your speech, then I am sad to say that you are a bitter person. However, only positive and encouraging words flow out of you, that means you're a bright person and an optimist. As the saying goes, speech is the mirror of the soul. As a man speaks, so he is. It is a proven fact that our world leaders have always been known to be influential speakers. In fact, one of our world's most influential leaders, President Obama, has always been known to be an inspirational speaker. He realizes the power of words, thus uses the right ones in his speeches, knowing that will establish him as a powerful leader. In conclusion, let us never underestimate the power of words. The right words can move mountains and paralyze us, but most importantly, we decree our realities, one word at a time. Let me end with Plato's wise words. Wise men talk because they have something to say. Fools, it is because they have to say something. With that, I thank you.
Morning, honorable adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen. A man wandered aimlessly and confused in a strange foreign land. Now this man, he was bedazzled, he was confounded by the sights, the sounds and the smells of this amazing yet unfamiliar world that he was in. And so this man, being lost, he had to ask for directions from the local people. Big mistake. Because at that moment that man was bombarded with words, sounds and jargon that he just could not understand. And so this poor confused man had to go. I beg your pardon? Now, verbal language is without doubt an amazing system allowing human beings to convey thought, ideas, emotions, systematically and rapidly. Yet for all its benefits, for all its beauty, verbal language has one clear and obvious flaw. Not everyone understands it. Now take for instance the English language. There are only about 1.2 billion speakers of English in the world, which means for each and every one of you here today who can understand, there are 6 others out there all over the world who cannot. But do not despair, my friends, for the solution is at hand. There are languages which are truly universal, spoken by anyone, understood by everyone. So let's find out what they are. Now, have you ever seen a movie in a foreign language? When it comes to the scene where the hero and the villain are locked in battle, yelling at each other, you don't need the subtitles to find out that they are not saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" Or, "What shampoo brand do you use?" No, it's because 60% of our communication is physical. It refers to the subconscious mannerisms that we make, the gestures that we do in our daily talking, in our movements, in the things that we say without saying. And 33% of importance goes to tonality. Whether we say things loudly, whether we say things softly, whether we move rapidly, or whether we say our words slowly. Which leaves behind only 7% of importance to the actual words that we speak. In fact, right now, I am being judged more harshly onto the things that I'm doing as compared to the words that I'm saying. I could throw out 100 words at you today, but you will not remember them. What you will remember is the impression that I make subconsciously. Because the first universal language is that of body language. And body language can be spoken by anyone, understood by everyone. And now, in 1954, CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, was founded. And today CERN houses 7,000 scientists from 80 different native nationalities. Now clearly in such an environment, communication would be a problem. When you have so many different languages, so many different ideas in so many different tongues. And at CERN, the research that they do requires very specific, very accurate transfer of information. How do they do it? Well, according to one of the researchers at CERN, they speak all together, regardless where they come from, the language of science, the language of progress, the language of the future. Each and every human being has the innate tendency within them to move forward, to get better, to progress. Everybody wants to go beyond what they are today. And that is true, no matter where you may come from, what you may speak, who you may be. Now, in ancient civilizations like China, Greece, Rome, discoveries were developed at the same time. Things like the compass, the ship, map cartography. Aesthetically, they were different, but basically, they were the same thing. Now, this is odd, considering that these civilizations had no communication with one another. They could not share their ideas. Yet, because the need for direction, the need for food, the need for transport was the same, we as human beings fulfill those needs. And that language, the language of progress, the language which makes us the best species on this planet, is one that can be understood by everyone. It is looked up to by people all over the world. It is the second universal language. And now, on a more serious note, my friends, it is unfortunate that we see today hurricanes, wars, famine, cyclones, devastation and destruction left behind by events that we cannot predict. Yet, out of the destruction, out of the horror, out of these ashes rises the third universal language. Because no matter where these events happen, no matter who is hurt, the whole world responds as one entity, as one being. Because the third universal language that we all speak naturally is the language of compassion, the language of love that we have for each individual, each human being. Now let me tell you about Agnes Bonyahu. Now, she's more commonly known to us as Mother Teresa. Now, Mother Teresa was an Albanian. Albania is a small, obscure Eastern European country. Yet, her works of charity, her works of kindness were known primarily in India. Now, Mother Teresa is not an Indian. She did not understand the culture. When she first went there, she was only 8 years old. Yet, because virtue is the same, because morality is the same, and because kindness is always looked up upon, no matter where in the world you are, she became famous there. She would be famous anywhere. Look at the people, the great people in our lives. Because of their kindness, because of their charity, we look up to them as great men, as great women, not because of the words that they speak, but because of the things that they do. In general, morality is the same, virtue is the same, charity is looked up upon, and public nudity is generally not accepted, no matter where you may go. And so, my friends, the barriers that we so commonly associate with language are not an obstacle at all. We misunderstand because we choose not to understand. Together, it is our duty to work towards developing unity, not through words, but through understanding, through love for one another, through trying to feel what the other person is feeling. And together we work for a better, a brighter, and a quite speechless future for all of us. Thank you.
What if I told you that Thomas Alva Edison failed over 2,000 times before he finally created the light bulb? Tough times don't last, but tough people do. What if I told you that Albert Einstein had to overcome a learning disability known as dyslexia? Tough times don't last, but tough people do. What if I told you that Beethoven had to overcome deafness, or that Gandhi had to overcome poverty, or the heroes of history like Martin Luther King Jr. and Mother Teresa? But tough people do. A very good morning I bid to the honorable judges, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And every single one of us is bound to face tough times in our lives. So it is only the truly tough among us who will be able to overcome. So what truly is being tough? Does it mean having a flawless six-pack? Or does it mean having perfectly sculpted biceps? No. Being tough, for me, is all about using the two magical F's. And these F's stand for fail and fight. The first F, fail. Now the gist of it here is not to fail on purpose, but rather to make failure your friend. You see, in life, failure is a necessity for the simple reason that we learn from it, and it gives us the experience and lessons that we need to raise our game to the next level. Let me share a personal story with you. Back in the 1950s, my grandfather was handsome, rugged, but he was the son of a poor rubber tapper. Unfortunately, my grandmother was the daughter of one of the wealthiest merchants in India. Being the ambitious man that he was, he just had to try and would have no other lady. So he tried to court her, and boy, what a disaster. He was chased out of the house with a broom and was told by her father never to come anywhere near her again. But after every failure and every rejection, he went home, learned his lessons, and came back stronger and better looking each time. And in the end, his persistence paid off, and today, I am proud to say that they have been happily married for more than 50 years. When I first heard that story from my grandmother, all I could say was, "Oh, how sweet." But the truth is, that simple story carries a very powerful message. If we can make failure our friend, then there is no form of adversity that we cannot overcome. I would like to sum this point up with an unforgettable quote by Michael Jordan. He said, "In my career, I've missed match-winning shots. I've missed so many times when I needed to score. And in my career, I've let hundreds of thousands of people down. I've failed again and again and again. And that's why I succeed. So we've got to make failure our friend." The second F, fight. What I mean here by fight is simply to fight to the finish in all that we do. It's so sad that so many of us give up just when we are so close to reaching our goals, when if only we had pushed a little bit harder, we would have realized our dreams. There was once a man named Derek Redmond who had a dream of winning an Olympic 400-meter race. Come summer of 1992 in Barcelona, he was geared up and ready for the race of his life. On that day, boom, he was off like a bullet. However, midway through the race, disaster struck. His hamstring snapped just when he needed it most. Lying there on the track, Derek Redmond made a choice. If this race was going to be his last, then he was jolly well going to finish it. He got up, and little by little, slowly but surely, he hobbled around the track. And in what has been dubbed the greatest moment in Olympic history, Derek Redmond finished the race. Now, 20 years to the day, nobody remembers that he finished dead last. But everyone remembers that Derek Redmond finished. Yes, I know. Oh, how sweet. But all jokes aside, that is the very spirit which I seek to share with you today. If we have the courage to fight to the finish, then there is nothing that can knock us down so hard that we cannot get back up again. Just like what Derek Redmond did. So we've got to fight to the finish if we are to overcome the tough times in our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And there has never been a truer statement. As long as we use the two magical F's, fail, make failure your friend, and fight to the finish, there is nothing that we cannot do in our lives. So now, what if I told you that the toughest times in your life were just ahead? Well, know this. You are going to make it through, and you are going to succeed. Because you know, I know, we know that what I say is true. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Thank you.
I quote, "We stand, think and act as Malaysians. We, people of all races and religions, must think beyond racial boundaries. We must act beyond the boundaries of ethnicity and race." Unquote. Datuk Seri Najib Abdul Razak. From the bottom of my heart, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning I bid to Madam Speaker, my honourable educators, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the floor. My topic today is integrity lies within our hearts. One Malaysia, people first, performance now. Since 2009, all of us have known One Malaysia as a guiding principle to build a united and progressive nation in the 21st century. Its aim to inculcate the spirit and values of togetherness and a sense of belonging among Malaysians, regardless of race, religion, and creed. The concept One Malaysia revolves around cultures of excellence, perseverance, acceptance, education, integrity, and meritocracy. Well, these values are drawn up with the hope of uniting us in mind and action, leading to one goal for the country. But to me, ladies and gentlemen, one value, integrity, stands tall above the rest, in which without it, the rest will be mere rhetoric. Now, what is integrity? According to the Oxford Dictionary, integrity is the quality of being honest, morally upright, or the state of being whole and unified. In other terms, integrity is doing the right thing, even if nobody is watching. Today, I am here to manifest how the principles in our pledge of the Rukun Negara are integrated with the value of integrity. First, to me, the value of integrity has to be uprooted from the one and the sole machine of our body. H-E-A-R-T. Yes, our heart. Integrity is actually related to the first principle of the Rukun Negara, believe in God. Put it into practice and be a God-fearing man. Lead this life with a clear conscience. Now, where does this conscience lie? Again, it is in our hearts. The conscience lies in our hearts, and I am sure all of us have felt and heard the voices of our hearts, the conscience, the so-called suara hati in Malay, liangsing in Mandarin, and manasachi in Tamil. The voices that praise and comfort us when we do good, and the voices that warn and caution us when we do bad. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, integrity is a counterpart of the conscience. Do not do unto others what you do not want others do unto you. Yes, this golden rule of reciprocity will bond us as one Malaysian with a true God-fearing heart and a clear conscience. If this heart exists in every soul in this hall today and be molded in the present and future generations, then I believe that we have united with the feeling of oneness, guided by the purity and the true path of the conscience. With that, I am sure that the concept of one Malaysia can be made materialized in our day-to-day life. Next, it is the purity of the heart that will generate pure love that we can shower to mankind. First, learn to love ourselves before we love others. Appreciate ourselves as the most beautiful creations of God on earth. Tough and strong physically, and yet soft and tender in our hearts. Vigor in our and energetic in our actions, and yet calm and loving in our hearts. It is this pure love from our hearts that is actually uniting us as one true loving being. Aristotle once said, "The seat and source of sensations is the region of the heart." Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, having a clear conscience with pure love in our hearts further leads us to the third value of integrity, sincerity. Let every single action of mine and yours be carried out with sincerity. The true feeling of wanting to do, wanting to help, and serving all Malaysians with sincerity. It is this perspective of integrity that unites us under the name of One Malaysia, to mold us to be true Malaysians with a clear conscience, pure love, and sincerity. Why not we uphold the true meaning of life, to do good in order to taste the nectar of the eternal love that we have for our beloved people and country. To all the clear conscience and loving hearts present today, let us ponder on these questions that linger in my mind. How can we support each other if we are not united in our hearts? How can we love each other, brothers and sisters, if we hold misconceptions about each other within our hearts? Before I end my speech, allow me to share these few meaningful words from Kofi Annan. Values need to be defended, they need to be strengthened, and we need to find within ourselves the will to live by the values we proclaim. Thank you.
Good morning, selamat pagi, sawan, and kale vanakkam. United we stand, divided we fall. A simple and clear statement. Today, tension and violence raise its ugly head among people due to the self-imposed blindness to the common great unity that we share. However, unity can heal all bruises, big and small. But first, what is unity? In a word, unity means oneness. When there's oneness, there's likely to be more strength in opinion, in action, and in character. This, in all simplicity, is what unity is all about. Unity starts with you. Not just you, but you, and you. All of you. When you and I can sit and have tea, that is unity. Simple. Chairperson, honorable adjudicators, fellow contestants, and all you beautiful people. Honestly speaking, anyone who resides in Malaysia is truly blessed. Where else can you find people from so many different races sitting together at the mamak stall at 12 a.m. doing what else but drinking tea? If Tunku Abdul Rahman, Tan Cheng Lock, or Tun Samandin had chosen to be narrow-minded and fanatic, the world map today would not feature such a unique nation called. In the same spirit, our current Prime Minister has initiated a momentous program called One Malaysia. It's not just a slogan, but instead, it should be regarded as a way of life towards achieving unity. The question you may ask is, why? Why now? But I ask you back, why not? And why not now? After more than 53 years of independence, the spirit of unity seems to be weakening. So, what do we do now? In my opinion, we can improve the situation by number one, having unity-based programs. Number 2, by taking the initiative to mix with those from other races. And number 3, through sports. My first point is, education is often described as the most valuable resource that any nation can rely upon. Our educational system has introduced subjects such as moral education, civics, and Islamic studies, all to instill positive values. But what have we really learned? Have we learned to honor and respect our friends' racial and religious differences? No. Have we learned to tolerate and interact with our friends of different races? Not really. All that we have learned is how to score A's, and A pluses. Which is why unity-based programs are necessary from preschool all the way to tertiary level to promote racial integration. As long as there's courage, aspiration, inspiration, perspiration, and cooperation, we can build a united nation. My next point. Unity can be achieved by basically taking the initiative to mix with those from other races. Find out more about their customs, cultures, and religion. The more you know about them, the more you will understand and tolerate. And why not learn their language as well? Aren't we already practicing some of the beautiful words? Don't lie. I bet most of you here know how to swear and curse in Tamil, Chinese, Malay, and English. A typical Malaysian is multilingual when it comes to swearing. So, why not take it further? Learn proper phrases and sentences. And perhaps you will have more dates of all races to go out with. Actually, we Malaysians are a good mix. We're just like a good old cup of all Malaysian teh tarik. We already have the necessary ingredients: tea, hot water, and condensed milk. Now all we have to do is mix and pull it all together to get our unique blend of tea. Tea for unity. After my third point, sports constitute a promising way for instilling integration. Our sports minister once said that when youth have a good time on the field, they develop acceptance, cooperation, and respect. Other examples would include SUKMA, Olympics, and last year, the FIFA World Cup. Almost everyone watched the World Cup, right? Regardless of age, gender, race, or religion. We could see Ahmad, Muthuswamy, and Achong sitting at the Mamak stall, watching and enjoying the World Cup together. Now, can you imagine if Malaysia made the World Cup? Okay, you might need a bit of a strong imagination here. But if Malaysia did make it, I bet every single one of you would be sitting glued to the TV, cheering, praying, and rooting for our team. That is what sports can do to bring about unity. It is this that sets aside individual differences, leaving behind a human being with one common bond. To sum up, unity can be achieved by having unity-based programs, by taking the initiative to mix with those from other races, and through sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our motherland, our birthplace, the only country we can call home. Unity is our strength. We, the younger generation, can strengthen it with a good, strong cup of tea. A toast to unity. With that, I say.
A very good morning, I bid to everyone. My father once asked me what made me feel happy. Being only 7 or so, I proudly replied, ice cream. As a child, I find happiness in the simplest things in life, like having an ice cream. Indeed, many things throughout our life has made us happy. A lot of things, from a new car to a red sugary lollipop, can certainly bring a smile of joy to our faces. But ladies and gentlemen, what is happiness?